This is one leaf of the leaf spring, and this is the one with the bushes pressed in the end. Now I've got some shiny new poly bushes to go in there, so I need to get these out, hopefully without too much gnashing of teeth. Just want to press the bush through into this larger socket, which it easily fits over. But what I don't want to do, and now I'm going to tempt fate by saying it, I don't want to get anything stuck. Big stack of penny washers on the end. Line you up on there. Line you up on there. And I'm going to need some standard washer. Just put a bit of lubricant on the studding, as it is stainless steel studding, because I've got stainless steel studding, I haven't got anything else. I think that's the first time I've ever put one of these ratchet spanners on and had it the right way round. See, this is now pitched over at quite a significant angle, which ain't good. I think what I'm going to have to do is push the rubber out of the middle, and then once I push the rubber out of the middle, a gentle saw cut through the metal sleeve of the metallastic bush, and then try and press it out, as that's under significant force, and I think that's rusted in the head as well. And with this being a spring, I don't really want to heat it. What did I say? Every time. Working on old cars really teaches you patience, as they are a great way to define recalcitrant. Damn annoying is another way to put it. I'll actually balance that precariously there. Right. I want you. You. Cool, dear me. Hopefully that's the bush moving, because it wouldn't keep doing it, and as soon as every time it pops like that, the vise gets a little easier to move. Right, so there we have the bush, which is most of the way out. The rest of the way, try a little twisty. This goes around it in a spiral. Pull it that way, not a lot happens. Push it that way. That's one, and that's the metallastic bush. There's a steel tube inside another steel tube, and the area in between is filled with neoprene rubber, which is bonded probably through grip blasting and primers and high pressure hot injection. make that quite a stubborn beast. It's one of the few times when you're doing something with a vice and a big bar that you want to hear it keep going crack, crack, crack. That means it's moving the bush. Doing that has definitely brought to light the way I've got to do the ones in the back of the diff, because there's two that come out on at the back of the diff, and there's two here, and I've already got the rubber through one of them just by pulling it through with a piece of stud. So it's just the metal tube, but this is a solid piece of I look at it, cast steel. Now this, which was just holding those, this is just a loop of spring steel, so it can flex. That can't flex. There's two possibilities really. It could mean that these are a lighter press fit, which would make my day really easy. There is a well-known engineering principle known as Sod's Law, however, which says that, well, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, and it'll probably happen at the most inopportune moment. So as I've got one of the rubbers out, I'm going to get the other rubber out, and then very carefully with a hacksaw just put a small groove in the bottom and then bend them in with a cold chisel so they just pop delicately and gently out of the body. It'll be a lot less stress on this aged casting, and hopefully solve that problem. Got a beautiful new PE bushes to go in anyway, so you don't need those tubes. I think that's going to be the plan. I pulled the drain plug on this the other day. Cheerfully bought myself a litre of Hypoid EP 90 oil to go in here. I mean, the bearings sound, everything's tight, just like it should be. Yeah, it feels good. There's basically no oil in it there. Now there is some collected around the top here, which wasn't here before, which was just from laying it on its side. That's appeared, apparently out one of the stud holes. So worth investigating. But if I've got it to this stage, I reckon I'm going to have to change these seals, and if I've got to change these seals, I have to change these bearings. This is one of the things which is preventing me getting the chassis rolled out and under a tarp, so I can get the body shells back in, because it's been as rainy in this area of the world, which is East Norfolk, as I can remember it in a long time, and the body shell's in pieces laying there in a big stack, filling with water like a big bucket really. So all that happens as time passes is I'm making myself more work to do. The spring is going to be coated in grease and then wrapped in a material I know as Denso tape, which is used a lot in the offshore industry for wrapping things which are going to go in nasty situations, and it's very good at what it does. It's horrible stuff. It's kind of a impregnated material, and it is absolutely horrible adhesive to get off. It's the most yuck greasy mess, but it stops rust and it stays on the steel, and it seems to be virtually impregnable to everything. And I've got, this is basically a 2/3 of a roll, and I've got another full roll up there and another one still in the bag somewhere, which I had from a job I did a while ago, wrapping things up in it to see if it was compatible, which it was, but left a horrible mess, so it never got used. So I'm going to coat these with grease, and then I'm going to wrap them in Denso tape. Certain areas of this which are going to be exposed. There's a centre section which fits in the in between the studs with the clamp on top, and obviously the end mounts. So I'm going to give it a light dusting with spray paint, just a light dusting, just to give it a layer of protection. I've got all the spring sections laid out here. I'm trying to keep them in order. I mean, to be fair, I don't think we could go wrong with them because they are all different sizes. Now, this one's over here. turning this cloth so that the freshly removed oily bit is not the bit touching the metal. Bag's very empty. Or paint. So diff's back together. Now I need to put the spring back together. Now to put the spring back together, I'm going to need these spacers, because the ones that were in the car, which I have here, are basically destroyed. They are flattened off and absolutely, well, distorted to hell. So I have some new ones. Total of 8 of them. Now I'm going to put a load of grease on here, and as I'm putting each one on, a load of grease. First flaw in my plan, I put this bolt here thinking that'll make it a lot easier to just drop them on, but the first one fits around it, so that ain't going to work. Okay, may the greasing begin. I'm being quite generous here, because I don't actually intend to go back in here again, hopefully ever. So the grease I put on today hopefully will be the only grease I ever need to put on it. You get the feeling they're meant to go in them holes, and they kind of do. Clearly need to lever that open a bit. I'm going to go for a lot of gloves here. Yep. Okay, one. Now I've done that one, I should be able to put the bolt through. Okay, rinse and repeat then. Ink. Starting to get there now. Now I know that this one is in the right place, and I know that that one is in the right place. So I might squishy, get these together. Recipe for disaster, reaching over a very greasy thing. There's the end of the stud. I'll just leave that for a little while just to acclimatise, get comfy. Okay, one greasy spring. I've made these for, there's a nice little bit of bronze bar line about, as what was there, which was I think they're called a C pin, as in the letter C. It's a rolled piece of very thin steel, and they're junk. So I'm going to fit these, and I'm going to put a tiny little bit of thread lock on the end before I do them up, so that once they're on, they're on. So. Now, even though they are nice and tight, they are just around the leaves and not touching the leaves, which I believe is the desired effect. Now the next job I have not been looking forward to. So this is covered in grease, absolutely coated with it. This is Denso tape. Denso tape is something quite commonly used in the offshore industry and similar to protect metal. It forms a very strong and corrosion resistant coating. It's plenty of black. Just going to cover the spring and give it a side piece. As you can hear, it is absolutely hammered down the bank. It's even hard to cut through. I'm not sure if I've enough there in this episode. Denso tape. Rinse and repeat. I've got some flush cut and cutters here. One of my pet hates is people who cut tie wraps with either bevel cutters or they cut them on a skew like that. And they make a little pointy thing. which you will always find when you've got your hand up underneath the car trying to sort something out, and it really hurts. Spring done. So keep going to take the gloves off, but I'm now going to move that, and I can put that over there out of the way. Well, that was the leaf spring done. Done, greased, wrapped in Denso tape, ready to mount to the top of the diff. Once the diff's in the car, I'm going to have a tidy up. And you don't need to see that. It's not very interesting. Well, not for you. On the stud, this is the threads off the nut. I'll probably yeah. Sort of a reverse helicoil. Incredible. Grease. Yeah, greasy, greasy, greasy. So I guess that is it for now.